Rain lashed against my window pane. Wind howled. A perfect night for a good scare vanished, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Driven by a morbid curiosity I couldn't quite place, I found myself searching for the apartment. It wasn't difficult. The original poster had unknowingly shared enough details for me to pinpoint its location, a century-old building nestled in the heart of the city. Standing before the imposing structure, I felt a knot of apprehension tighten in my chest. The building had an oppressive aura, its brick facade stained with the grime of ages and neglect. A shiver ran down my spine as I reached for the rusted iron gate, its cold metal biting into my skin. The entryway was dark and smelled faintly of mildew and decay. A flickering gas lamp cast long, grotesque shadows that danced on the walls, amplifying the building's sinister aura. Hesitation gnawed at me. I could turn back, leave the story undisturbed in the digital ether where it belonged, yet an unknown force drew me in. Steeling myself, I climbed the creaking staircase, each step echoing through the unsettling silence of the building. I found the apartment on the top floor, its door marked with the number 13. A chill ran down my spine. What had I gotten myself into? The landlord, a jittery man with eyes that darted around nervously, seemed unsurprised by my visit. He seemed almost eager to hand over the keys, practically pushing me into the apartment. "It's all yours, son," he muttered, his voice raspy and low. "Just be careful." He didn't elaborate. The apartment was exactly as the Redditor had described it, spacious yet oppressive, with high ceilings and windows that barely allowed any sunlight to penetrate the gloom. Dust motes danced in the faint light that filtered through the grime-coated windows. A heavy silence hung in the air, thick with the weight of forgotten memories. And then I saw it, the mirror. It stood at the far end of the living room, its ornate silver frame tarnished with time, yet strangely alluring. Its surface was dark, reflecting nothing but the oppressive gloom of the room. I approached it slowly, drawn in by a force I couldn't quite comprehend. As I stood before it, a cold shiver ran down my spine. An unsettling feeling washed over me, a sense in my gut, cold and paralyzing. I listened intently. Every rustle of the old building, every creak of the floorboards, amplified in the terrifying silence. The scratching continued, persistent, insistent. Section 5. The Noise. Mustering every ounce of courage, I threw back the covers and crept towards the door, my heart pounding in my ears. The scratching stopped as soon as my hand touched the doorknob. Holding my breath, I flung open the door. The hallway was empty. Relief washed over me, followed by a wave of confusion. I had heard it. I knew I had. Was I losing my mind? Closing the door, I was plunged in darkness, the only light coming from the faint glow of the city seeping through the living room window. I fumbled for the light switch, but the bulb remained stubbornly unlit. Then I saw it, a figure standing at the end of the hallway, shrouded in darkness. My breath caught in my throat. It was tall and emaciated, its form shifting and wavering in the shadows. Terror rooted me to the spot. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't scream. The figure took a step closer and I could hear the sound of my own blood pounding in my ears. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the figure vanished. I blinked, my eyes struggling to adjust to the darkness. Had I imagined it? A wave of dizziness washed over me and I stumbled back, my hand grasping for support. My fingers brushed against something cold and smooth. The mirror. I hadn't noticed it before, shrouded as it was in the darkness of the hallway. Now a faint light emanated from its surface, a pale, ethereal glow that seemed to pulse with an unnatural energy. As I watched, mesmerized and horrified, the mirror flickered and an image began to form on its surface. It was the figure from the hallway, but it wasn't just a reflection. The figure in the mirror moved independently, its eyes, two glowing orbs of malevolent light, locked onto mine. It raised its hand, its long skeletal fingers reaching out towards me as if trying to break free from the confines of the mirror. A primal scream rose in my chest, tearing through the suffocating fear that had me in its grip. I stumbled back, tripping over my own feet, and fell against the wall, my eyes never leaving the horrifying apparition in the mirror. The figure continued to reach for me, its movements growing more frantic, more desperate. Its mouth opened in a silent scream, revealing rows of jagged teeth. Then, as suddenly as it began, the light in the mirror flickered and died, leaving me in darkness once more. I lay there for what felt like an eternity, my chest heaving, my body trembling uncontrollably. The silence was deafening, broken only by the frantic beating of my own heart. Slowly, very slowly, reason began to return. Had I really seen what I thought I saw? Or had fear, fueled by sleep deprivation and the eerie atmosphere of the apartment, finally pushed me over the edge? I stumbled back to my room, my mind reeling. I had to get out of this apartment, now. Gathering my meager belongings, I fled the apartment, not daring to look back at the mirror that now seemed to pulsate with a sinister energy. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs screamed for mercy. The memory of the figure in the mirror burned into my mind. I never went back to that apartment. The memory of that night still haunts me, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the veil of our reality. I try to rationalize it, to explain it away as a hallucination brought on by stress and exhaustion, but deep down a part of me knows the truth. Something evil resides in that apartment, something that feeds on fear, something that almost claimed me as its own. And the mirror, it remains a portal to somewhere dark and terrifying, waiting for its next victim.